only impacts election officials. Of the 71,000 requested mail ballots for the runoff, records show more than 13,000 had not been mailed as of Saturday. Georgia's Democratic nominee for governor is focusing on teacher salaries. Stacey Abrams says she wants to boost educators' pay in our state to $75,000 a year. The plan would cost taxpayers more than $400 million a year. Abrams says the salary increase is long overdue following years of budget cuts.
Over the last 4 years and the last 20 years, there have been consistent, unadulterated cuts to progress, slashing budgets, eliminating opportunities, creating division when we should be coming together to lift up our children.
Abrams' Republican opponent and incumbent Governor Brian Kemp says she is simply proposing a new spending bill. But Abrams believes Georgia can expand Medicaid and boost teacher pay without raising taxes.
When is it going to end? You know what I mean? Like it's just like a lot to take in, but you gotta get it.
We don't really pay too much attention to daily wiggles.
The president's top economic advisor dismissed the turmoil in the markets, and the White House is steadfast in its insistence that outside factors, not administration policies, are responsible for the growing crisis.
You know, Putin's price hike, inflation coming out of a once-in-a-generation global pandemic, all of those things play a factor.
And we will find out tomorrow what the Federal Reserve plans to do about interest rates, but economists are bracing for a pretty big hike. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
With his child's mother under any circumstances. Almost a year before he killed his 1-year-old daughter, his child's mother, and then himself, Darian Javaris Bennett was told by a judge to stay away from his ex, Keyshawn Washington, at the cost of his freedom. Authorities in Newton County say Bennett was arrested for making harassing phone calls and threatening to kill Washington in July of last year. A warrant for his arrest in November says he was texting and calling Washington repeatedly in an effort to terrorize her. Those threats became a reality on the night of Saturday, June 11th, when he shot and killed Washington and shot her mother, Peggy Burns, in the head. Burns was airlifted to the hospital and at last check was listed in critical condition.
Anger and turmoil that's inside of them that causes them to do this.
Deputies say the threat of violence extended to his own child, Jakari Bennett, who he shot and killed before taking his own life on the grounds of Riverdale First United Methodist Church Sunday morning.
When the policeman came to our office, his heart was broken and he was weary because he just witnessed a young man kill a child.
Riverdale UMC pastor Philip Armstrong.
We can prevent through good mental health care, through being observant of our neighbor.
He told Fox 5 while guns can be used for entertainment or protection, he believes there should be more oversight into who can have one.
At the price of all of these lives being lost, we need to control who has them and how many rounds they can fire within a minute.
Camera breaking the glass door of Hen Mother Cookhouse on Jones Bridge Road. He then trashed the restaurant, breaking dishes and throwing items off counters. Officers tracked Wade down hours later and arrested him. The owners say they had had several issues with Wade over the years, and he already has a criminal trespass warning for that business complex. We now have the mugshot of a McDonald's employee who's accused of shooting his manager. Police say Christopher Jean-Pierre shot the manager after a disagreement on June 3rd. A surveillance video shows the gunman walking up to the victim and opening fire. Pierre was arrested a week after the shooting. He's been charged with attempted murder and possession of a firearm.
New tonight, arrest documents out of Newton County reveal a history of harassment from the man authorities say shot and killed the mother of his 1-year-old daughter Saturday night.
He then
during a prison bus escape has been found guilty. A jury in Putnam County convicted 29-year-old Ricky Dubose after deliberating for less than 2 hours. Well, now the sentencing phase begins. Dubose could be sentenced to death. Back in 2017, Dubose and another inmate overpowered officers aboard a prison transport bus. The men stole their guns and shot them before escaping to Tennessee. Police captured both men a few days later. We hope to learn more today about the person shot and killed near Georgia State University in downtown Atlanta. Officers found the victim just before 9 o'clock last night near Marietta and Peachtree Streets. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. One person was detained, but officers did not say why. Police say there is no ongoing threat at the university. Fulton County leaders are relaunching a court program targeting repeat offenders. It's focused on addressing a big problem with crime across the area. Good Day's Brooke Zahner is live in downtown Atlanta with more on that. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning to you, Buck. And the Fulton County DA says the goal is the same for everyone, to keep the streets of Atlanta safer. And now they're tapping members of the public to get involved when it comes to court proceedings for repeat offenders. The latest data from Atlanta Police continues to show violent crimes spiking since last year. The Atlanta Police Foundation says often repeat offenders, those convicted of 3 felonies and arrested for a 4th, are a big part of the issue.
It's not always that government officials want that full accountability. We have real leadership in this city right now, and it's represented by the folks behind me today. They want accountability. They're willing to throw their operations bare to let everyone see that, to make sure they are being accountability on this issue. And now we have an opportunity to bring the community into the conversation.
On Monday, city leaders announced they will bring back a citizen-based program called Court Watch to track those repeat offenders.
They will have a first-hand view as to what is going on and be able to write reports to allow other citizens to know what is going on in our court system.
Court Watch volunteers will be able to sit in the courtroom and track the bond hearings, sentence lengths, and other issues dealing with repeat offenders. Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis says it's not just about getting the community involved, but also holding her office and APD accountable. The anti-crime program will start with 250 trained and vetted volunteers. They say the ideal candidate for Court Watch is someone who is concerned about crime in Fulton County.
This is a way of members of our community to help ensure that there are equal and appropriate consequences for the decisions made by repeat offenders.
Recruitment for this program has already begun. You can head to courtwatchatlanta.org. You can also head to our website for more information. That's the latest here in downtown Atlanta. I'm Brooke Zahner for Good Day Atlanta. Buck.
Into custody. The man's accused of purchasing 92 illegal firearms that were recovered in Texas, Maryland, and Canada.
As these examples make very clear, if you put illegal guns on our streets or into the hands of violent offenders, the Justice Department will spare no resource to hold you accountable.
Federal prosecutors are being instructed to prioritize prosecutions of people believed responsible for the greatest gun violence. Garland called repeat offenders the major drivers of violent crime.
The Senate took a big step towards gun legislation over the weekend. A bipartisan group of senators reached an agreement, though there is more work ahead before a final deal. On Sunday, 20 senators, including 10 Republicans, released a framework on gun reform. The proposal includes incentives for states to pass red flag laws, expanded background checks for gun buyers younger than 21 years old, as well as more funding for school safety and mental health resources.
That makes you feel hopeless. Know this.
Rising a village. Now, perhaps, in a smaller context, we can understand why the Bible actually says there are times when you gotta send that Nabal out of the camp. Why? Think smaller than America. We can absorb an awful lot of naughty teenagers, but in a much tighter context, one troubled teen is big trouble for the entire village.